Yes, I've been gone for almost a month, but I didn't forget you. As you can see from the title, we've been going through a few things. So this is not really a travel vlog, this is actually an update vlog. So we moved into a brand new house and it was an interesting adventure, to say the least. Okay, so let's backtrack. About 6 years ago, we bought our first home, our very first home. It was a beautiful townhome in a lovely neighborhood. People were so friendly, and coming from the hood, this was such an upgrade. It was a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom townhome condo. I still don't know the difference. Comment below, what's the difference between a townhome and a condo? I still don't know. Anyway, it was gorgeous, and we took our time to decorate it. We painted the walls, added some texture to the island. Rain and I were the only ones living there, well, and Daisy. So it was a lot more room than we need. I would have been happy with just living there for years, but not having a 2-car garage or 2+ car garage, it was kind of a pain. And then also having a shared wall was a bit of an inconvenience because we were always worried about making too much noise, even though our neighbors were amazing. I couldn't have a piano because Rain was worried about it being too noisy. We only had a front yard, which was right in front of the mailboxes, and it was kind of hard because some days I just want to relax in the front yard and relax in our, on our outdoor couches, but it was hard because, hello, every single person who needed their mail would pass by, and I'm like, you're just so exposed. What if I wanted to wear house clothes or like hoochie shorts? I don't wear pants at home, so we never ever used that front yard except for a couple times. And then also, my brother moved out of my mom's home, my childhood home where I grew up, and we were worried about her being alone, and she was, she would talk about her feeling lonely at home, and we were worried about her just being by herself and empty nesting. So we decided to look around at model homes. When we decided to choose the house, it was so hard because every single house we went to was gorgeous, but they had something missing in our list of requirements in order to buy a new house. Every single one of the houses was missing something big, except for one. There was one house that just had every single one of our requirements, and I'm like, I feel like it was made for us. It had an entryway to the front yard, the front door, it wasn't right in front of the yard. You had to actually walk through like an entryway. It had high ceilings right when you enter the house, a beautiful foyer, and stairs leading from the front. You can see the stairs from the front door. Yeah, because that was important to me. I wanted to have a high ceiling right when you enter, just a gorgeous, like, hello, welcome to our house kind of area, because I have plans for that. I'm going to include those plans in the next vlogs. And then it had a very open floor plan, bright white cabinets, gray granite countertops, gray luxury vinyl flooring that kind of looks like wood. I feel like they made it for us. There was a California room and very large windows, large entryways into the backyard. And the backyard wasn't too small or too huge, it was just right. Because I don't like really large backyards because it's too much to upkeep and too expensive to actually landscape. And I didn't want something too small because I want to entertain, I want to have people over, I want them to be able to eat al fresco. Oh, what else can I tell you? Sometimes in backyards, there's another house behind it. There's no one there. In fact, it's over on top of a hill or mountain. So all you get is a beautiful breeze. It's amazing. Anyway, 3-car garage. 3? Coming from a 1-car garage? Having a 3-car garage? Wow, I felt like such a baller. Seriously. What is this house? Again, we didn't grow up in houses like this, okay? But anyway, so we decided to go for it. We ended up going with a real estate agent from Redfin because their agent fees are a lot less than having a normal real estate agent, and I would totally recommend it. If you're selling a home, Redfin is the way to go. In fact, I don't know about everyone else, but our agent was amazing. Okay, so what's next? We found a home that we wanted and finally decided to sell our current home. So we entered into a contingent contract. It's one of those things where you put a deposit for the new home and you kind of make an agreement saying that you will purchase the home, and you can purchase that home if you sell your current home within a given time frame. So if you don't sell your home by this date, you can't purchase the new home. Or if the escrow doesn't close by this date, you have to pay extra per day. Like I think it was $200 per day until the end of that escrow. So we rushed to get our home ready. We wanted it to be beautiful to take for the photos. We wanted it to be listed as soon as possible. We packed up all of the unnecessary items, put it into some little storage place down the road, and cleaned like crazy. And then finally they took photos. They did the 360 whatever thing that they did, and then our agent had it listed a few days later. So the next few weeks, that's how it was. Every time we had an appointment, we would get the house ready, we would clean any last minute things, we would hide Daisy's stuff, and it was exciting, but it was also very nerve-wracking because you had to be on your toes all the time, and it was kind of exhausting, but it was worth it. Yeah, while we were in escrow, there were a lot of challenges that happened. I remember when I said that you had to sell your home at a certain time, your escrow had to close, let's say a month with our contract, a month after we placed a deposit on the new home. We were right on time, everything was going smoothly, but then the very first challenge was we found out that the guy who purchased our house, so he was out at sea, which was difficult because he had to wet sign certain contracts in order for us to close. And I'm sure it was stressful for that family because they needed a home. I think they were renting or something. They needed a home, you know, by the time he got back. That meant that our escrow date had to be extended. And we were worried, we were like, oh, what do we do? You know, so luckily the people we were working with were able to extend the days of our escrow, our closing date, a little bit, and they didn't even charge us for those extra days. So I was happy about that, Rain was happy about that, it was all good. So that was taken care of. So when you're in a contingent contract, you close escrow from the sale of your old house. And when that money goes through, which takes a couple days or so, you ideally close escrow for the new home, right? You can't move your stuff from the old house to the new house until your escrow's closed on the new home. So we were thinking, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do with our large pieces of furniture? We ended up biting the bullet and ended up renting a large storage unit. What can you do? Where are we gonna put our stuff? So that's what we had to do. We moved all of our things from the small unit to the big one. We got rid of all the large pieces of furniture from our old home. And for the most part, the next few days, we were just sleeping on the floor and eating off of the island, no dining room tables. And you know what I learned too? One thing, this side note, I realized you don't need a lot to live. Like, you don't need a lot of things. And this really made me reconsider how we live our life. And I ended up thinking that, okay, living in a new home or moving into a new home can actually represent a new beginning for us. We're gonna change the way we live, change the way we eat, change the way we treat each other. Tupac. But it's true, you don't need a lot. So I was thinking, why don't we not fill the home with a lot of crap we don't need? Why don't we focus on the fixtures? Why don't we focus on only the large pieces of furniture? Let's try and make it a little bit more minimalist. So you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot to live, you don't need a lot to be happy, you don't need a lot. That's pretty much it. Why do we have so much crap? Wow, I went off into a tangent. Okay, let's fast forward to the Friday that we were supposed to actually close on our new home. We already sold our old house and we closed on that escrow. Let's fast forward to that Friday. Wow, there's a lot going on. Backstory. There's some weird boil on my left thigh, upper thigh, or butt area. I don't know where it came from. I know I didn't get bit. There was no pain, but it was like a fluid-filled boil. Sorry if anyone gets squeamish. Anyway, that's gonna be tied into the next story later on. We found out that Friday that we were supposed to get our keys around, let's say 5 o'clock. I don't remember the exact times. 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was excited, you know, I was packing up the last of our stuff, and I told Rain, and he said he might be able to leave work early, and we were just all so excited. 4:30 that day, I was playing with Daisy. I gave her her favorite snacks, I was feeling good, I was like, she was happy, we were playing, and you know, I was also getting ready, and then something happened. Daisy was, you know, she's normally like really happy, jumps around a lot, and you know, very energetic. And then I looked at her and I noticed she looks so different. Like, what's going on? Her eyes, like her head was down and she was looking at me like this, and she wasn't moving. Her limbs were all crazy and sprawled out on the floor, and she wasn't moving, and she was going like this. I got really scared. I'm like, I don't know why, but I kept repeating, Daisy, what's wrong? Daisy, what's wrong? Obviously, I know she's not gonna reply back to me, but I didn't know what to do, you know? I was like, what's wrong with you? She was acting weird. And then I was like, what's wrong? And then she kept on like this to her teeth, showing her teeth a little bit.
What's wrong?
Almost like she was showing me that there was something wrong with her mouth.
Retreat? Did you
And I checked under her gums, I checked under, I went like this to her teeth to see what's going on, and I was like, what's wrong? And she had it open a little bit, like that, and I couldn't see anything, but then I noticed there was a little bit of blood in her mouth, and then I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? And I gave her a little bit of water to see if she'll take it. She wasn't drinking any water, and she started making like a crying noise, and I freaked out so bad. Oh my gosh, I was so scared. I was like, she still wasn't moving, and she was like, making these crying noises, and I was so scared. I was freaking out, and it was already 4:30, and I called her normal, pet hospital where she gets her vaccines, and they were closing in like a few minutes, and they were saying, okay, no, you know what? I told them what happened. They said, go call or go to the pet emergency or pet hospital, the emergency. I guess there's an emergency room for pets, and I've never been there before. So on the way to the pet hospital, I called up Rain. Honey, Daisy's acting so weird. She's acting funny. I just gave her a treat, and I think it's stuck in the back of her throat, and she's bleeding, and I'm taking her to the emergency room. So he goes, hold on, I'll be right there. Where is it? And I'll meet you there. I was freaking out, and I'm driving, and I'm teary-eyed. But then I turned and I noticed, Daisy is looking around, and her face was normal, and she looked like it was just back to normal. I pulled over in the parking lot, I sat there for a little bit, and I was talking to her, and watching her movements, watching her behavior, and she looked perfectly normal. Bleeding has stopped, and she wasn't crying anymore, her tail was wagging, so I just sat there for a little bit, just in case I needed to go in. Rain calls me again, where are you? I said, I'm in the parking lot. He comes over, and he checked on her too. We did our little assessments, and we realized she was fine. So, no more treats, no more hard treats for her. I think that was the reason why, because her treat that she likes from Milo's Kitchen brand, I think that was the brand, it may have gotten lodged in a certain part of her esophagus, and we decided to only give her soft, chewy treats from then on. And so that was resolved. We ended up driving her back home, watched her for a little bit, and then went to pick up our keys. And then finally got our keys to our new home. So the next morning, that Saturday, we ended up cleaning like crazy, cleaning our old house like crazy, getting it ready nice and pretty for the new owners. Rain was power washing the front yard. We're cleaning the walls, listening to like a Drake playlist on Alexa. It was a great morning.
It's move-in day. As you can see, we have a lot of crap in here. But we're excited. We're finally moving into our new house. So we're moving our stuff out of storage, and we had to hire movers because we tried to do it on our own and it's too hard. The washer and the dryer was really hard to remove. I'll show you the little dolly we used. But yeah, we hired movers to make it a little easier for us.
Renting movers, you would think, isn't tiring because, they help you out with a lot of things, but no, it's exhausting. Even us helping them out and just moving everything into the house, we were exhausted. But it was really fun, and they were great. The movers were so sweet, and they were so helpful, very, very awesome. Like, we really recommend them.
Thank you guys so much. You did it.
Okay, so Sunday morning rolls around. I woke up with the most pain on my left side. Remember that boil that I was telling you about that was on my butt? The redness was increased, and I had a bit of a fever, and my body was aching, and I was thinking it was because of all the unpacking and all that. Oh my gosh, it was so much, and the pain, I kid you not, I felt like something was drilling into my bone or something. It was very sharp, and it was so warm, the area was warm, so pretty much it was an infection. And I went to urgent care, and the lady, I don't know if she was a doctor or PA, I think she was a PA, a physician's assistant. She goes, I'm so glad you came in today, because if you waited another day, you would have needed an IND, an incision and drainage, which means I would have gone to the hospital, went into surgery, and they would have had to open up the area to drain it out. This is the worst time to have this, okay? So she placed me on 2 types of antibiotics, and which I took religiously. If you have antibiotics, make sure you take it all the way through. Don't miss a dose, FYI. I kept checking my temperature, making sure that it didn't spike, so I was taking Tylenol too. and ended up having to call in sick, and I felt so annoyed because it was such bad timing. I had to go back to work, and if I wasn't going to work, I wanted to unpack. I can't even do that. So that was a pain in the butt. It was our first real day at home, at our new home, and I got this this infection. I was scared of going septic, you know, because why would I was having fever and I was having body aches. Then I was worried they didn't do a wound culture, you know, just a whole bunch of things. I thought it was staph, you know, like, so I didn't want to touch too many things. I kept washing my hands. It was just a whole mess. Long story short, a week later after my antibiotics, it's fine. There's a large scar there, but there's absolutely no pain. Redness is gone. It's resolved, okay? Anyway, after all that, after all of those challenges, we are nothing but grateful. We were so happy that we were able to get this home that fit us. It fit what we wanted. It was almost like this home has our personality. We were just so happy. That first night we had this moment of reflection, like, what, is this really our home? Like it's a huge house in a gorgeous neighborhood. And for a moment we even had a bit of imposter syndrome, like, do we even belong here? Is this real life? Does this really belong to us? You know, we were just so grateful. The very first morning that I woke up in our new home, I just had tears in my eyes out of gratefulness. Like, I can't believe that we have a house like this, you know. And even now, I can't believe it. Growing up in a certain neighborhood or now in this type of neighborhood, it felt so surreal. And we're just so grateful and so happy. I know I don't pray enough, but I ended up sitting there and just prayed, and all I prayed about was just how grateful we are and how lucky we are, and just thank you. Just a whole bunch of thank yous, that's all I can remember. But yeah, I hope you like this video, and I'm gonna change it to a travel and a lifestyle channel, because now that we moved into this new house, we're not traveling less. I'm still going places, we're still going places, we're still going on adventures, but the other type of adventures that I'm going to include are what's going on in our house. We'll do a house tour a little bit later when everything's ready. I'll do some how-to videos, and I'm going back to Europe with my mom and my brother, and I don't know if Ren and I are going to go anywhere before then, but I'll let you know. We'll keep vlogging. If there's anything you want to see, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll try to have a new video every Tuesday, but again, it's been very crazy, so I can't be as consistent as I want to be, because again, I have a job, Rain has a job, we just moved into a new house, a whole bunch of things. But anyway, I'll try to pump out more videos if possible, so I have more content. But again, I'll see you on the next video on whatever the next Travel Tuesday will be.